Hello everyone, welcome to another World of Warships Legends video. I am your host for tonight's shenanigans, Phoenix61. Make sure you're following the channel. And alas, we are playing in the Suzuya, right? So this is one of my favorite ships. I think probably the reason I have a lot of videos out there with this ship is just simply because it's a really good silver money maker, right? So this was actually probably one of the first games I played with this ship since since the big carrier update, which alas I haven't heard is there are already plans for nerfing carriers because they've just been made too strong, right? So but yeah, so it is like kind of a new meta, new feeling, new strategy, knowing that when airplanes spot you, see, normally I would be making a maneuver right now, right? We just got spotted by the planes, and normally I would be like, all right, I've got to turn away so that I'm not broadside to enemy ships, right? But as long as it's only the planes spotting us, I don't have to worry about enemy shells so much, right? So but they still know you're there, right? So when you do get spotted, right? Whatever you want to call it now, spotted by a ship, eyeball spotted, whatever. You do have to, be ready for that, right? So we see the smoke screen out there. I was going to send torpedoes that direction anyway because, well, that's kind of where the enemy usually is and where they come from, right? So if somebody was going to be coming into the B cap here, such as an enemy destroyer, right? We've sent some torpedoes for them to, hopefully, they'll have to dodge or die, right? So we'll do that, and then we'll keep moving this way. And, same thing goes for your planes, right? So now my spotter plane is significantly less helpful, right? So if my spotter plane picks somebody up, picks up an enemy, spots an enemy, right? We'll see them on the minimap, but we won't actually be able to shoot them, which is a little frustrating because it's like, well, it's my plane. Come on, let me shoot. But that's how it works, and at least for now, right? I think there's, I think everything is on the table for being revisited with how, how much changes they've done. But yeah, so we'll swing around here, dump some more torpedoes, and see if we can't light this Duncan on fire. And we are, again, only spotted by the airplanes. As you can see up in the top right, that shows an airplane, right? So we don't have to worry about enemy ship fire, right? Until probably this Duncan comes around the corner here. So we're still getting kind of our freebie shots off, right? And then, yeah, now he's picking us up for real. And if we go behind here, we'll see if we go unspotted, and we don't. So there's probably a destroyer somewhere around here as well. But yeah, the game is different now with this, with these tweaks, with this spotting tweak. So we'll send some torpedoes through here. I'm gonna guess either a destroyer is in there or hopefully the Duncan comes through that way as well. So to mix things up, I did a spray and pray shot and a narrow shot as well. But yeah, since we are eyeball spotted, as you see in the top right, that means a ship is picking us up. That means any enemy ships can shoot us. And there it is. There is a lightning. We'll send our planes up to try and help combat the carrier's planes that are attacking us. And we are far enough away from the lightning, plus we have our sonar going now too, so I did use damage con for the fire. I'm, sometimes maybe a little too confident in myself to be able to dodge torpedoes, but with the sonar going, we should be able to spot them quickly, or early enough, so to speak, right? And then, yes, so there they are. That is the other thing, too. Airplanes can no longer spot torpedoes for you, so if you've ever relied on that in the past. I mean, that was one thing, I was working through doing, carrier tutorial videos, and that was one thing I talked about. I'm like, hey, if you can't hit enemy destroyers with your bombs, you're at least keeping enemy destroyers spotted, which now you no longer do, right? You're only spotting them for sake of the minimap, and you would be picking up torpedoes for your allies as well, right? So you were doing more contributions to sort of the map, or the battle overall, versus just worrying about your own damage doing, and so but that's not the case anymore, right? So airplanes don't spot torpedoes, and unless they change that back, who knows. They don't spot ships. There needs somebody come up with a word for it, right? Because now there's two different kinds of spotting, and it's annoying to keep track of, right? But so we are only plane spotted again, as you can see by the airplane bomber symbol at the top right. Now we are not spotted at all, right? So yeah, we need to do a whole new tutorial video on how spotting works, you know, because now it's more confusing than it was before, especially for new players, right? So yeah. But yeah, we'll see if we can't trigger some fires on the Duncan. We have yet to get a good, a good damage farm going on one of these guys yet, right? They've kept their distance. We had to deal with the destroyer, the lightning, right? So we did our job there. Used our sonar, the fact that we're a cruiser up against a destroyer, we focused fire on the destroyer, right? That's the sort of, in general, rock, paper, scissors element to the game, right? Cruisers are best at taking out destroyers. We've got torpedoes coming from the planes, but it looks like we'll be able to dodge those. If we weren't able to, we did have damage con ready just in case. And I'm going to shoot my torps at the where that cruiser in the smoke screen is, right? So, and of course, yep, the planes are gone, so now we are unspotted again. So we are getting away with quite a bit here, hiding around the corner here, especially after having gotten rid of that destroyer. I think that's another, you know, sort of big change that people kind of aren't bringing up or expecting. You know, it's almost as if carriers don't exist anymore, like when it comes to spotting, right? So now you really are relying more heavily on destroyers and destroyer players to pick up that slack, you know, as if it's not a carrier game, right, to start with. We're a little bit broadside to this Amalfi, so we'll start turning back in towards him and kind of split the difference between him and the Duncan that's off to our right. And the Duncan does have, you know, I really wish we had a sonar ready right now, because Duncan does have those front-loading torpedoes, right, that he can send. It's a single shooter, but it is a brutal torpedo, right? So if he's smart, he's got one on its way to us already. So we'll maneuver a little bit here to see, and then we're going to try and dodge the torps from the airplanes again. And we have some success there. And we're gonna, I just can't, like, I'd love to be able to turn away from this Duncan, but yeah, so there's the torpedo, right, and now we're gonna take that. I shouldn't have turned away. I was like, he's not looking this way, right, but watch how much damage this torp does to us. That almost took us out, right, like, he almost got a devastating strike from a single torpedo, right, so that is one thing. I have some Duncan videos out there. Those are so fun to use when you do actually get those hits, right? So that is one of my favorite ships to play, and part of that is because of how brutal those torps can be, right? So we send torpedoes back towards the Amalfi, and then we're going to be a little more careful this time and not take torpedo hits from the Duncan, right? So we'll send some more torps this way, and then we'll keep an eye on the Duncan. He dies from the fire we triggered. We get a flood on the Amalfi, right? So he's either going to flood or put that out. It looks like he chose flood, so he maybe misused damage con previously. But now he is sort of the, you know, between our heal, we've taken some, we've got a little bit of health back left, right? But yeah, so we might be able to finish him off, and then all that will be left is the carrier for this game, and that'll be all she wrote, right? So triggered the fire there. And looks like he's going to cook for a little bit, because he probably used his damage con to put out the flood. We will damage con our fire.
Smells like fire.
And can we go unspotted from him? Yes, we can. Is anybody else picking him up is the question, though. So we might be able to lob some cheesy shots over the little ridge here. Yep, nobody else was spotting him, so now he's gone dark as well. We might be able to hit the Kaga here. Get a little bit more damage done. Look at those bullets going perfectly over that mountain there. Yep, we'll shoot at him as much as we can here until, oh, we popped high caliber as well. So we got arsonist and high caliber already. That's pretty sweet. Alright, yeah, somebody just, yeah, the destroyer got rid of the carrier. So we will press hard in towards this Amalfi here, right? We may end up winning on points depending on what he does here. We're at 980 already. And there goes our sonar, right? So, you know what, I am a huge fan of fully packed, but we went through most of our consumables, but we did have one more sonar left, right? So that's kind of one thing that I do preach as we're winning on points, but I'm kind of like, I'm a huge fan of fully packed, and I always advocate for it, because you get an extra consumable for each consumable, right? But keep an eye out. If you find yourself never going through them all, then it would make sense to use something else, right? So 3,100 XP in that game, that does put us at the top of the leaderboard quite easily, right? And we come home with 600,000 silver, right, with premium activated. That is one of the biggest reasons I like this ship, right? But we'll go through the commander build as well. I'm using, Norman Scott and this guy, right? So basically, range, accuracy, and HE shells is kind of the way to go with this one, right? These Japanese cruisers are a little bit more fire-centric, right? So I don't do punch through because most of the time I'm shooting HE, right? So that's kind of why I pick one of these other ones. You do max movement speed, or I went with the defensive one here, right? Survivability, more HP, and less incoming damage. And rudder shift isn't so bad, so I go fixated, main battery shell grouping and dispersion, right? So a little bit more accuracy. And then fully packed, right? So that is that. That is our Suzuya game for the evening, folks. Thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you guys, everybody that follows the channel. I really do appreciate you. Until next time, we will do, we'll probably have some live streams at some point as well, like we do. And then, more videos. I have been on the struggle bus with, real life and getting a World of Warships video out every single day. Last, we do have some Skull and Bones videos, right, to fill in some gaps. I apologize for people that aren't Skull and Bones fans, right? But we're also playing that game, and I've also been having fun with just some friends playing Borderlands as well. So one of my other all-time favorite games, but World of Warships videos will continue and prevail. I promise. I swear. Okay? All right. See you guys tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Make sure to follow.